Okay, next up we're going to do a multi-layer party dip Mexican style, okay? And I actually came up with a recipe that's very low in fat, very low in carbs, very low in sodium, very high in protein, and you're just going to love this, okay? To go in this, what we basically have is I have some romaine lettuce, okay? I have some non-fat sour cream, and this is a frosting bag, and if you don't own one of these, you probably should because they're about $5, and they are so handy for making things in the kitchen. You'd really be amazed. I also have about half of a white onion that I've diced. I have about 6 stalks of green onion. I have some jalapeno peppers right here. Pickled jalapenos is fine, or you can use the fresh, whichever you prefer. And I have about 3/4 of a very ripe tomato that I found, okay? Just awesome. Okay, add to that, I've got about a teaspoonful of minced garlic. Okay, we're going to be adding about 1.5 cans of, this is non-fat refried beans, okay? I've got a small bowl of salsa, whatever brand you like is fine. And I also have just some regular run-of-the-mill taco seasoning mix. The problem with this is it's a little bit high in sodium, so we're only going to use about half of that. So I'm going to go ahead and get all this stuff together for you. And here we go. Okay, I've had my meat browning now for about 4 minutes, maybe 4.5 minutes, something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look. Yeah, that's looking good. Oh boy, it smells wonderful. I'm just going to kind of give it a little bit of a chop action, make sure nothing's sticking. You want to really kind of reduce the meat down as far as you can, as far as its actual individual piece size or whatever. Just like that, okay. Had this on about medium heat, by the way. Okay, we're looking good there. I'm going to go ahead and actually turn that off. And I'm going to start that on. And when it comes to the beans, you just want to heat those up probably on medium high heat, something like that. But the twist on this is we're actually going to go ahead and we're going to put our garlic into the beans, because I'll tell you, I use garlic in a lot of things. It adds flavor and it's really, really good for you. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a quick stir. Once the beans heat up, they'll be a whole lot more pliable and much easier to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and heat these guys up. I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Okay, I've removed everything from the heat, the beans, the meat, everything's ready to rock and roll. So we're going to go ahead and begin building our party dip. Here we go. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a layer, and I'm just using like a medium-sized bowl in this. This is going to serve about 8 people pretty easily. So I'm going to go ahead and use a medium-sized bowl, and I'm just going to go ahead and put a layer of beans at the bottom. Again, we used 1.5 cans of the beans. You could use the whole thing if you wanted to. I just didn't really see the need this time. Here we go. Just kind of spread it around your bottom. Just like that. Everything's cooperating. All right. Okay. Now you can drain your meat if you like, but it is turkey, so there's really not a great deal of fat in there, to be honest with you. So I'm just going to go ahead and take a slotted spoon and put a layer of meat, just like so. Kind of spread it out there, make sure you get good coverage. Everything is nice and uniform there. Very good. Okay, now I'm going to do another layer of beans. Kind of spread it around. It's going to mix up in there a little bit. Don't worry about that so much. Nobody's seeing this part of it. I mean, it's the layers don't really need to be all that pretty. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and I have about 1 cup of cheese. This is just a shredded 4-cheese Mexican blend, and I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of that in there. Just about 1/4 of it, I'd say, maybe. Something like that. Clumped up there a little bit. Okay. Okay, great. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my green onions. They're going in next. Just like that. This will serve, I said 8. It'll probably serve about, I think, probably 6 people. Should be sufficient, something like that. But I mean, again, it all of course depends on how much people eat that kind of thing. I'm going to go ahead and toss a layer of jalapenos in here now. Just like that, okay. Another layer of beans. This is going to be the last one. Oh yeah. Just like that. Now spread it out as best you can. Okay, very good. Another layer of meat. Oh yeah, this is turning out nice. You are really going to enjoy this. Your guests are going to love it. And they don't have to know that this is like 100 calories a serving. You don't exactly have to tell people unless you really want to, of course. Most of my guests automatically know that if they come over, they're going to be eating healthy, so it kind of goes without saying, to be honest. Okay, very good. We're there. I'm going to go ahead and take my white onion. I'll lay that in there this time. Just like that. And more jalapenos. And you know, the jalapenos are really an option for this. You know, you don't have to, if you're not into that, you don't have to use them, of course. Or you can always use a different type of pepper if you prefer. And now for this awesome tomato that I found. Really lucked out. And I found it in a supermarket, no less. It wasn't even like on a roadside stand or anything like that. Oh, look at that. That just looks good. Okay, very good. Now, we're going to go ahead and use our romaine. Very good, excellent. We're going to go ahead and use the remainder of the cheese, which is about 3/4 of a cup, maybe a little bit less. Kind of sprinkle that on there like so. Make it as pretty as you can. You got people coming over. You want to impress them. That's it, here we go. Very good. Now, we're going to go ahead and put a layer of salsa on there, just like so. Oops. And this is actually medium salsa. You know, if you want the hot stuff, go for it. It's all pretty much the same when it comes to, you know, its nutritional value. Now, this is where this little guy right here comes into play. These are so awesome. Look at that. Excellent. That is just awesome. Now again, this is about 100 calories a serving, so it's pretty hard to argue with this kind of quality food at 100 calories per serving. I'm sure you'll agree. But as always, now comes my favorite part, of course. The taste, of course. I usually serve this just by sticking a big spoon, something like that, into it. And you want to make sure that you hit the bottom, get all the good stuff. Put some out there on a plate, just like so. Boy, that smells good. Let's talk about chips. I did a lot of research on chips recently when I was coming up with this recipe, and I even looked into those vegetable chips that are out there that are supposed to be healthy and that kind of thing. They had the same issues as a regular corn chip. They had some saturated fat, they had you know, some sodium problems, that kind of thing. But I did find Snyder's of Hanover makes a line that's actually 1/3 less fat, and it is a little bit cheaper in calories, so I decided to go that route. I'm going to go ahead and give this a try. Spectacular. You'd never know this was low fat. Your guests are going to love it. You're going to love it. Oh, wonderful. Okay, and stay tuned. I've got one more Super Bowl episode. We're going to do one more appetizer, and we'll be right back.